All right there, everyone. CNN is in a full-blown ratings panic. That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. We'll also be looking at what employees at CNN see as the problem and why they think things are getting even worse. But first, I want to introduce you to a company that shares our values and has become a good friend to this channel, and that's Noble Gold. Now, we're, of course, all optimists here on this channel, but you always have to be prepared for significant downturns in the market. Now, a major correction has been in the cards for some months now, and during this time, Noble Gold have been getting their clients to buy precious metals as a hedge against their pension funds losing massive chunks of their investment. And it's especially important for those with IRAs and 401k rollovers who have no diversified investments, just stocks and mutual funds. Now, it's not too late, but time is running out. If you're worried about where another market crash will leave your investments, then you need to talk to one of the Noble Gold team right now. So give them a call at 877-646-5347 to find out how you can protect your investment and keep your fund intact. That's 877-646-5347. And make sure you mention my name, Dr. Steve Turley, or click on the link below to get your free gold and silver investment guide. What are you waiting for? Click on the link or call that number and get your free gold and silver investment guide today. All right, so we've been tracking with CNN's ratings decline over the last several months here on this channel, and it's really bad. I mean, there's just no way around it. Their numbers for Q2 of this year were some of the worst ever. I mean, they fell to just over 500,000 viewers total. They struggled even more during the all-important primetime hours of 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. They finished in embarrassing 15th place in terms of the most watched networks on basic cable. They finished behind channels such as TLC, Discovery, Hallmark Channel. They averaged just over 700,000 primetime viewers. Just to give you an idea of how embarrassing that is, Fox averages around 2.4 million. Okay, CNN started off the third quarter with the lowest viewership average for the network since 2015. And given how news-heavy the second quarter was, with the release of the Mueller report and the beginning of the Democratic presidential, clown campaign, I mean, Q3 promises to be a ratings disaster. Now, while it is true that cable viewership has declined in general, right? Streaming services like YouTube and Hulu are really the wave of the future. So while it's true that cable viewership is down as a whole, Fox News is reporting that CNN's losses really are nothing short of overwhelming. The network lost 18% of its audience compared to the second quarter of last year, and CNN has also lost nearly 40% of primetime viewers among their key demographics. So there's no question CNN's ratings are collapsing. Now, it's being reported that these plummeting ratings are indeed causing panic within the CNN organization. Now, we're not talking about the high-profile anchors like Anderson Cooper and Chris Cuomo. Their jobs are safe. No, the panic that set in is among people at the lower levels, such as producers, show bookers. I'm sure many of you remember that CNN laid off almost all of its healthcare coverage division several weeks back, right? You may be familiar with that division by virtue of Dr. Sanjay Gupta. He's a pretty famous guy. Well, his job is safe. It's most of the rest of the division that are based out of Atlanta, they're all gone, okay? They're out. And these layoffs came just weeks after CNN announced that it was planning to lay off upwards of 300 of its staffers. And so there seems to be no question that there's very real grounds for CNN staff to be panicked here. And this panic is all the more justified given the fact that the corporate executives of CNN and their parent company, which is AT&T, they're not addressing the fundamental reason for these horrible ratings. And that fundamental reason is CNN's continuing credibility crisis, okay? Think about it. For 2 years, CNN has been telling its viewers that the coming Mueller report was going to sink President Trump. The Mueller report would end up with indictments flying everywhere, implicating everyone from Trump all the way down through his inner circle, and that this would be the end of Trump's presidency, guaranteed, right? I mean, it's done. And so when none of that happened, when the Mueller report was released and it turned out to be a big dud, CNN's primetime lineup audience plummeted 26% literally in a week. That loss of viewership directly correlated with massive discrepancy between CNN's projections for the Mueller report and the reality of when it finally came out and was released. And then you have, of course, good old hysterical Jim Acosta, right, the White House correspondent for CNN. We like to call him Jim Acosta, right, because he doesn't ask the president questions. He accosts the president. He confronts him. He antagonizes him. He openly mocks him, right? He's not a reporter. And then you have Don Lemon, good old Don Lemon, right? The host of one of the primetime shows. Again, as Fox News has pointed out, Don Lemon has referred to our president as Adolf Hitler. He's called Trump a racist. He's called him a fraud, a con man. And at one point, he even questioned Trump's mental fitness. And even CNN employees are complaining that CNN continues to put this guy, Don Lemon, they continue to promote this guy as a hard news journalist rather than an opinion host, an editorialist, which he is, right? They try to pass Lemon off as an objective journalist. You know, I could still remember Lemon debating with Ben Shapiro, and Shapiro took him to task for having such a blatantly left-wing bias. And Lemon actually tried to make the argument, get this, he tried to make the argument that he has a point of view, but he doesn't have a bias. I heard this with my own ears. Lemon actually tried to argue that he has a point of view, but not a bias. And of course, the simple question to ask him is, are you biased toward that perspective? Are you biased towards that point of view you hold? I mean, it's utterly absurd. So all of this is to say that employees in CNN are really panicked, and they have every right to be. They see the problem. They know precisely why CNN is hemorrhaging viewers, and it's because of this credibility crisis. If you're no longer trusted by viewers, and then your tagline is the most trusted name in news, dude, you don't gotta be a genius to figure out that's not a business model that's gonna fly. You ain't gonna invest in that. CNN execs don't seem to care. They've doubled down on anti-Trump anchors and so-called reporters who are just left-wing activists disguised as journalists, which means that they're only going to continue to suffer more ratings losses, and more ratings losses means more layoffs. So we'll certainly be keeping our eyes on how things continue to degenerate at CNN. It will be most interesting to see just how low their ratings can go. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out some of our awesome merch that celebrates all things nationalist, populist, and traditionalist that you're just going to love. And please click on either our Patreon Subscribe Star or PayPal links below, and consider becoming a monthly supporter of this channel and help us to continue to analyze current events in light of super awesome conservative trends so that you can personally and professionally flourish, living in the present light of even better things to come. God bless.